Hey guys, welcome to a new video. This one is all about offers. So if you're a personal trainer or an online fitness coach, you're trying to scale your brand, then this video is going to be very helpful, right? Your offer is basically how you present to the market what you sell, which is coaching, right? And, you know, a lot of people get it wrong. So in this video, I'm just going to go through the entire sort of thought process that I used to help my client Trevor completely transform his offer, which resulted in him going from 8K per month to around 56K in a month. Did that in around 46 days. And to be honest, his lead flow didn't really change that much. But what did change was his offer. So it just shows you how powerful the offer can be. And in this video, I'll show you exactly how people get it wrong and how you can make sure that you don't make that mistake. So by the end of this video, right, you're going to walk away with 10 times more confidence about what it is you're actually presenting and how you're positioning it in the market. So here's Trevor here. So as you can see, they're very happy with the results. So basically, what his offer was before, right, kind of targeting anyone who wants it, open to most goals, that typical personal trainer mindset where you're just kind of open to anyone that wants you. Standard deliverables. So what I mean by that is just focusing on the most basic stuff that everyone sells, right? Training plan, nutrition plan, all this stuff. Lack of strength and social proof. So a big problem when you're open to a lot of different people is your social proof gets spread thin and it's not as potent. So people look at your social proof and a lot of it has nothing to do with them, right? It's not even relevant. So that's what I mean by that. And also just charging the typical, monthly fee, no matter what their goal is or how long it's going to take, just a standard monthly rate. Okay. It's not great. So it was about 250 a month. And this resulted in just him being a generalist, right? Trying to accommodate everyone. And then it just makes you look average at everything, right? If you're not trying to master one thing, one transformation, you're not going to have any pricing power, low perceived value, right? Because you're not specialized in something that one person wants. You're trying to be the master of all trades. No unique selling proposition, right? Because you're being a generalist, that means you're not able to take, the pain points, the desires. You can't position yourself against competitors and things because you're being too general. So it's just an impossible task. Lack of community because everyone's so different. And no transformation being sold, just focusing on the deliverables. So what we did was we changed his offer from just a monthly coaching to a 6-month high ticket program. Started targeting high earners with little time, right? And I'll go into a little bit about why we decided to do this. Quantifiable end result. Eliminated their biggest problems, okay, because we niched down. So now we have a much better idea of what their issues are and what needs solved. Tailored the deliverables to the niche. So it's no longer just general stuff. Obviously, training plan, things like that, those are going to be standard, but you make it sound specific to who you're targeting, and you can add stuff in there that is going to help them specifically, not just everyone. Zero competition. The more you niche down, the less competition that you're going to have. A no risk guarantee and a weighted pricing structure. So the result of this being he's now positioned as more of a premium brand, right? The supply and demand is working in his favor. Highly specific to who he's targeting, right? The ideal client persona. Low supply, high demand for what he's selling now. And more pricing power. Because people will always be willing to pay more if they see you as the best option in the market. More tight-knit clients. So now that he's targeting a specific kind of person, internally inside his program, people are more relatable. They're more likely to build relationships. Just everything, the group calls, things like that. Everyone's having the same problems. They're all able to sort of bond over it, and also a bit of friendly competition as well. So it just means client retention is higher because the value of his program is now higher as well. So it's not just a case of people just want the transformation and they're gone. A lot of people are actually going to stay for that community element as well. And just an emphasis on the end result, not the process. This is really important. What is it they actually want? Don't sell them the process of getting that thing. Sell them on what they actually want. Okay? So I'll just show you the offer straight up. So career-driven men, right? I'll help you lose 20 pounds of your body fat, pack on lean muscle, and teach you how to stay in shape for forever in 180 days or less using our kettlebell body method without ever setting foot in the gym or counting a single calorie. And if it doesn't work, you don't pay. So there's a few different things going on there, which I'll go into. But you can just see how much punchier that is, right? Compared to you just trying to pitch someone on the stuff that they know they're going to get anyway, like the training plan, right? Why would they care about that? They know that's going to happen. That's, it's just silly. So you're focusing on the things that they want most, okay? And also the things that they don't want the most. Like, what are the biggest things that are stopping these people? Well, with these kind of people, they don't want to have to, set time aside to meal prep or count calories or set foot in a gym, stuff like this. So they need a system that can work around their busy lifestyle. Okay. And with this offer, his close rate actually went up. And that was after upping his prices as well. So it just shows you, how powerful a good offer can be, right? So here's what most coaches get wrong. What they think an offer actually is, so I've kind of touched on this, right? They just focus on training plan, nutrition plan, check-ins, 24-hour support. These are the features of the offer, not the offer itself. Your offer is your promise to the market, right? What you're going to help them do if they join, not how they're going to do it, because they don't care about that. When people think about doing this and when they buy in stuff like this, it's an emotional state, right? So they're thinking about the outcome. Therefore, you need to focus on the outcome as well when you're marketing what you're selling. Another thing is zero positioning or research. So your offer should take into account the biggest pains and desires of the niche, while also using flaws in other methods to position what you're selling as the superior option. So, if you're a generalist, you're not really there's going to be too many pains and desires to focus on. Ideally, you just want 2 to 3, maybe one big desire and 2 to 3 pain points. And you need to know who your competition is so that you can then position yourself as better than them. So let's just go into the thought process here, right? So step one, because Trevor was already coaching people when he joined, doing around 8K a month, that was obviously a good thing because we don't need to start from scratch. We can use the data that he already has. So who gets the best results? Who are the nightmare clients that he just doesn't want to work with? Who is responsible for most deals closed? So who's the easiest to sell to, right? Who does it resonate the most with? Who puts up the most objections? Okay. That's obviously a sign that it doesn't quite match what they need. And also, who's the most fun to work with? Okay. You want to you actually want to enjoy what you do, and you want to have a good atmosphere inside the program. So we performed a bit of market research as well. So obviously we had this data, but there's also his social media audience to consider as well. So we put out a few IG stories to get an idea of what people actually needed and what they wanted. Obviously, we had an application process as well, which had various questions, which was great for directing people from the content to the application. The application would then collect data before hopping onto a sales call. And this is obviously a good idea of what the market want, right? You can organize this in a spreadsheet so you have a nice bird's eye view of what people are actually saying. And then obviously on top of that, you do have the sales calls as well, which is a more thorough, deep dive into what it is that they actually want and why they actually want to make a change as well. So using all this, we were able to then identify who the ideal client persona actually was. So using all the data, right, we could identify, patterns and themes of who to actually double down on. So things like gender, what their goals were, what their problems were, line of work, likes, dislikes, literally everything that would be relevant. And then from there, now that you know who you're targeting, that's when you can make an offer. Right? A lot of people try and make an offer before they even know fully on a deep level who they're trying to target, which is silly. So what you can do from there is actually map out, like, these are the biggest desires that these kind of people have, and reverse engineer that in terms of what you would actually deliver to them in an online coaching program. So you need to understand what their before state is. So what are their current motivations for joining a program? Like, what are the pain points? What are the desires? How are they feeling in their current state? Things like this. And then their after state, which is where they want to be. How does it feel? What does that look like for them? All this sort of stuff. And now your program, the job of the program is essentially just to bridge that gap. So you don't want a program that's just indefinite coaching, right? Check-in after check-in with no actual roadmap in place. Okay, it should be a proven process to get them from where they are now to their desired outcome. So you need to write down every single step that between A and B, literally everything. From the second they send the money, we needed to have a watertight process that kept people on track and made sure that the likelihood of success is as high as possible. So making sure that you're doing everything as a coach to get the person there, and making sure that you have systems in place to also make it as easy as possible for the client, keep them accountable as well. And yeah, you want to establish every single action into like a roadmap, identify every possible problem and make it more efficient or easier. For example, a cheat sheet for eating out at restaurants is a solution for a problem under the nutrition umbrella. Okay, if that's like a big reason why people fall off the wagon, then you need to have the awareness to identify that and actually make a solution and a system that people can use, so that then when they eat out in restaurants in the future, they have a framework or a way of going about it, right, without just improvising. So yeah, you need to identify all the problems that would stop people from getting to their goal and just solve every single one. So you can designed an impossible to fuck up accountability system. So how often are you talking to them on a weekly basis, right? You're going to have a weekly check-in, right? People aren't doing the check-ins, then you need to have reminders. Any little problem that like bottleneck that occurs, there's always a solution and a way around it. So monthly review calls, okay? For the weekly check-ins, we just used Loom videos. That's just perfect. Or if a client is just doing really well, you don't necessarily need a Loom video every single week. They can just have a voice note or something. But the Loom videos are good for if you need to kind of go into a little bit more depth about things. However, in terms of one-to-one calls, he was having one-to-one calls with every single client. So we had to cut that out real fast because that was sucking up a lot of his time. Now we do a 1 monthly review call a month and just the weekly check-ins, which you can bang out on like Monday and Tuesday, for example. Community engagement. So could be a WhatsApp group, a Facebook group, a school community, just somewhere where you can have people engage, right? Share their wins and things like that. And then obviously the group calls as well, which work really well if you have like a quite a tight knit and niche community. So that's kind of it really. So obviously I've not gone into like crazy amount of detail in this video. This is just kind of like the high level overview and like the thought process going into each decision. But you can see how much different thinking everything through on this level can be versus just promoting that you're selling a training plan and a nutrition plan. Okay. People have the luxury of buying from whoever they want, right? So if you're not looking like the best on the market, then they're just going to go to someone else. So you have to make sure that you know exactly who you're trying to target and then what you're offering is the best it can possibly be, right? Within reason, right? So yeah, that's it for this one, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.